an opportunity to also understand how they can grow when facing trauma in stressful situations. So for Timothy and I, we have learned through the times that even though I am going through different things, I make sure that he is aware that he is not involved in my trauma and in my experiences. It's getting through that trauma. I highly encouraged him to have support systems with friends and outside resources such as teachers and counselors at his school. Even though we offer those things as parents, one of the most intimate things that Timmy and I have is one thing that we stand strong and is bonded by, which is our check-ins. And I feel like our check-ins are probably the one thing that keeps us the closest, because you're so raw and real, and we get to, no judgment areas, a safe space.
Just completely honest.
Completely honest. Mom, I don't like what you did this week. Mom, what's happening with your time schedule? Mom, you've been a little more argumentative this week. What's going on? Is it, it's just as helpful for me to see myself through his eyes as it is for me to tell him how I see him. See, he is my greatest teacher because he is teaching me some of the greatest things that I might have missed as a child that I now can carry on in my life today. Mm-hmm. I've learned that through that, he's become his own advocate for friends and peers at his school. And I thought it would be great for him to understand, talking openly with me about not just me and him, but also expressing some of the things that he has in the past spiraled and not discussed with teachers. And some of those things were me going through multiple surgeries and procedures and chemotherapy. And those things are really hard on children, and they weighs on their mind. And he was very traumatized, especially with both of his parents being in the military and deployments, and seeing his father go through so much while at war on video, and his mom coming back with severe PTSD from military sexual trauma. So it is important that I educate him and everyone about the things that could hinder family members in their communication styles. What are some of the things that you want teens to know?
That it's not their, well, it is
a part of
their, it's a part of their life, but it's not their fault.
Yeah.
They can't, and like what they can do is like they could be like emotional and physical support.
Yeah.
For them, so that the parents still have hope, and like not all hope is lost.
Absolutely. And some of the things that I know with spiraling that I've seen with you, you've actually seen with your friends, and now that you have relationships, what are some of the things that you've seen in your past experience?
Like avoidance, like getting caught up in lies, and just like feeling off of the mood and such.
Right. So it's a completely different energy, yeah. And you're able to recognize that that's not that person's norm.
Yes.
Okay. So, and with that isolation, we're in a very sensitive time. And what are some of the things that you feel is necessary, like you have expressed with your other friends during isolation, that is a good thing to do?
Just not like get outside, but like reach out and such, and like don't all be like in yourself, because it's like truthfully you need communication with others in order to have a healthy social skills and such.
Yeah, so you mean outside, you mean go be active, but not, be socially distanced, with things, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I am so blessed that everyone was able to see just a glimpse of our great relationship. And I hope that you have the influence of being able to do your own check-ins, your own safe space, your own awareness with your child, and the love that each one of you have for one another that may not be able to communicate. These are just the simple steps of being able to say, we are there for one another. Mm-hmm. And we give hope, faith, and love to all of you. Blessings, love, peace, and wellness. Thank you so much for joining us.
The Raiders are honored to be a sponsor for this year's Rising Hope Festival, powered by Hope Means Nevada. We hope to play a role in Nevada's transformation in mental wellness.
All right. Thank you, Kristina. Thank you, Timmy. Love the check-ins. Love the honesty there. And, of course, we just heard from our friends, the Las Vegas Raiders, supporting Rising Hope. We are saving lives today, folks. We are raising awareness. We need you, please, to support. Text 775-644-HOPE. That is 775-644-4673 to support the Hope Means Nevada Teen Committee. With that being said, Will, tell us who's next.
So inspired by the likes of Dinah Washington, Frank Sinatra, and Amy Winehouse, 17-year-old Chloe has a unique vocal style and soulful songwriting that even America's Got Talent most peculiar judge, Simon Cowell, gave her a yes when she auditioned for him. Chloe has won awards for her music and has released her third single this year called Ghost. Most recently, she performed live at a 3-day telestream to help raise money for those in the industry. So, Chloe will be performing her first release this year called Reality.
Hi everyone, Andre Agassi here. I just wanted to thank you for letting me pop in and be a part of this. I want to thank Hope Means Nevada for putting this all together. I know these are some pretty struggling times for everyone. easy to feel isolated, alone. And, when you think about the children and not going to school with the socialization, and even if they are going, it's an upside down sort of experience and way different than we're used to. And that can definitely cause some anxiety and some stress. And, well, we're all connected. We're all people who need one another. And even sports has kind of been compromised, and social lives affected dramatically. And the hashtag Ask5 is sort of a calling for all of us, for all of you, whether you're struggling or not, to pick 5 people and reach out to them and just ask how they're doing. Check in with them. You never know when you can help someone, and you never know when you might actually need help yourself. It feels pretty good to feel understood, and you'll make a difference in people's lives when you least expect it. So stay safe, and thank you for allowing me to intrude for a few minutes, and God bless everyone. Bye.
All right. Andre Agassi supports #5 campaign, and you should too. Please, folks. Again, another reminder, get involved. That #Ask5 campaign. Ask 5 people how they're doing, and then listen to their answers. Really listen and be there for them. All right. Another reminder, donations help, folks. They really do. Big part of today, what this is all about. We really want to support, to raise funds to save a life tomorrow. That's so important. So again, encouraging you, please text 775-644-HOPE. That is 775-644-4673 to support Hope Means Nevada's work to raise awareness about mental wellness, mental health, mental wellness. Hey, Will, take it away, my friend. Who's up next? Who can we look forward to?
Right. We have Jeanette Schneider, and she is the founder and CEO of Live Media and created the award-winning app Live Pocket Coach on Apple. It's like a life coach in your pocket. She's also a mother, mentor, author, and host of the Love is Viral show on Apple, Spotify, and iHeartRadio.
Hi, and thank you so much for having me today. I recognize the importance of this conversation both as a mother of tweens who is navigating virtual learning and the digital world. I'm also, I created software, and I understand digital media's relationship with our brain chemistry. So I hope that I can give you some perspective today, because I really do believe that that's what we need in this digital time. We've gone through a period of time where we're so used to connection. We learn in person, and you can never take away the fact that when you're across from someone, you're feeling their body language and their tone, and there's a part of the energy of another person that really adds to an experience. When we're behind our little digital devices, we are kind of plugged in to advertisers, to toxic messaging and behaviors, because there's not that interaction. And it's noticing that and realizing, first and foremost, that all of these online tools have really saved our butts during this period of time. They can be dangerous, but all in all, they're a net neutral. They are tools for us to use in order to be efficient and effective, and they have kept us from true isolation during this period of quarantine. But with that said, your relationship with that tool is what makes it a positive or negative experience. And even more granularly, your relationship with your emotions and yourself and the way that you regulate your internal world has a lot to do with your experience online. So I want to talk about that today, because I think it's so important that we create awareness around our relationship with digital media and our relationships with our friends through digital media. Because some of our bad behaviors and our toxic behaviors and things that we don't necessarily notice because there's less points of connection show up online. So one of the first things that we have to talk about is why it's so important to realize how this information makes you feel, instead of being kind of pulled along a current of algorithms and marketing departments. If you think about the fact that sometimes when you log on, you're technically in somebody's marketing war room. They have learned how to curate experiences and feeds and are trying to sell something. And if you can kind of think of it from that perspective, it will give you a little bit of separation, especially when it comes to consuming content online. Learning to observe yourself and how you respond to that content is incredibly huge. And then it allows you to process that information. And what people don't realize is a lot of times when you're consuming information and you're kind of in a automatic mindset, you're just receiving messages that have been curated to make you consume and to make you buy, not necessarily to make you connect, even from the influencers that you follow. If you start to realize that when you're looking at something specific, like your shoulders slump in, or you don't feel good about it, or you start to make comparisons. I spoke with a group of teen girls a couple of years ago when we were talking about the influencers that they followed. And they loved them. They emulated them. They thought that they were amazing. But I said, well, how do you feel about yourself when you look at their pictures? And so many of the girls talked about the fact that they felt that their thighs were too fat, or that they weren't tall enough, or started to question their own character and values because it didn't seem as shiny and as perfect as what you see online. Well, those influencers and those people are also in the business of making money. They're making money because of the products that they're able to push based on your likes and your exposure to them. And you have to keep that in mind, because the comparisons you're making are not real. So if you're looking at something and you start to feel yourself question yourself, pay attention to that. With one of my daughters, we created something called the flash unfollow. The moment she notices that her mood is changing, she flash unfollows that person, because you can allow someone to surreptitiously, like almost suspiciously, mentor you through your feed if you're not really paying attention to what you're receiving. So if instead you actually start to look for mentors, athletes, people, you can look for actresses and celebrities who are doing something really great in the world, who have a really great message. Those are the people who could take up the time and space in your head, and you need to be aware of who's really renting your ad space that's in your head, that's in your mind. I think it's important, not only do we seek our mentors and we realize that content that we consume equals money for someone else, and start to separate it from ourselves and not take that in and create a barrier between us and someone's marketing department, but also recognize our relationships as they've moved online, how they've shifted and adjusted. As my girls moved from having after school activities and people over to a digital relationship, there was so much more fighting in between the girls. So I started to study them and understand and read the text messages and really get a feel. And unfortunately, when we're younger, we really haven't had the same emotional maturity that an older person has to navigate complicated relationships. And one of the things I talk to them about is how important it is to understand that no one is hurting your feelings on purpose. It's so important that we're creating a friend group that's like a circle. And if our circle is the friends that we should move through life with, these are not the kind of people who are going to make you feel bad about yourself, give you a hard time because you didn't text back right away, call you names, not call you back because they're mad at you. That's not strong, beautiful relationships. And I think that this digital age, if we look at it as an opportunity to create like a masterclass of communication and engagement with our friends, we could create such strong, beautiful relationships. What that means is you have to model that for your friends. So if you start getting passive-aggressive text messages back, or someone's picking on you or bullying you, and this is a person that you value, then you need to pick up the phone and call them or FaceTime them and say, I value you too much to make an assumption and fight with you. Is something going on? This is teaching us conflict resolution. This is teaching us the ability to communicate with one another. And they could be truly upset, but then you're going to find out and you're going to work through it, as opposed to passive-aggressive text messages and sad face emojis, or going into another group chat to talk about the person that upset you. These are all incredibly unhealthy behaviors that you have to shed as you move into your college and career years, because that's not effective communication. And don't get me wrong, adults don't even get the tone in text messages down right. So we even have to be aware of the fact that if something seems right, seems wrong, do you value the relationship more than you value the drama of what's happening in the chat? We want to make sure that we're constantly teaching the people around us how to treat us, and we're aware of how we're treating ourselves in our relationship with our social media. The funny thing is if you model really great behavior and if you model the type of relationships that you want to have, your friends, even if right now they're like, what are you doing? This is weird. And they want to go gossip. Eventually they're going to come around and they're going to let you know that they admire you because they know they can trust you and that they respect you. And that's what you want. You want friendships that are full of trust and respect and that recognize when behavior is becoming toxic. Those are the types of relationships to really love on. Last thing I want to tell you is if you're having a hard time, if you're struggling with your relationships, talk to one of your grown-ups. It doesn't have to be your parents. Just pick a grown-up. Even though we did not have social media when we were growing up, we understand what it's like to navigate tough relationships and tough times, and we are here for you. If I can leave you with anything else, it's simply your emotions come and go. They are temporary. And we've gone through so much. We have so much to offer that if you need help, seek the assistance of a grown-up. And if you need a break from your phone, put it down or show your text messages to a grown-up and they'll tell you how to get through the situation. Anyways, I hope this is helpful. I know there's so many grown-ups that believe in you, and hopefully this is going to be your entry into new and more fulfilling relationships online.
Hello everyone, my name is Crystal McKinley, reporting here live from the center in accommodation with the Hope Rising Festival. Today I want to address a few things regarding suicide prevention and hope for young adults. I have been through a lot of times where I couldn't see the end of things or I couldn't see the rainbow behind the tunnel. And I'm here today to inspire a lot of you young people to take courage within yourselves and trust in your dreams and never stop chasing your goals. And the reason why I say this is because a lot of times, given our certain circumstances regarding family, mental health, and health itself, life can be really hard sometimes. So I'm here to give an incentive to keep living and keep pushing on, and to remember that you have people that love you. When I was young, I used to live with my stepmom and dad. They weren't the best supportive parents I could have, but it was all I had. And there were times where I really wanted to be my true self, and they were not accepting of it, and they truly tried to erase that part of me. And it wasn't the most comfortable situation, and I suffered a lot of mental pressure from the family and a lot of hate towards myself and my own life. I felt like I was unworthy. I felt like I would never be happy, that I would always be trapped within that environment. And some days I couldn't see my own future becoming a reality. What changed for me was the motivation that there are people like me out here, that there are people who want to be helped, that there are people who want to be heard, and that if I were to go and to find my own way to get to these people and to get with my people, including all my LGBT people and my allies and my peers, that life would be a turnabout. It would turn around. And that's what kept me going. It still keeps me going to this day. I suffer from financial limitations and mental limitations, but I find that my friends and family keep me going. I had to build a new family. I had to build a new life. I had to build new respect for myself and my own ability to go forward and things that I couldn't do. And I'm here to remind you all is that when you're very young, there's this pressure that you have to be more than you have to be, and that you have to subdue or put yourself in this society where they put labels on you, where they tell you who you are before you get the chance to tell them who you are. And a lot of times when we look at ourselves, it changes our self-image and it changes our own self-worth and whether we deserve to live into what the rest of the world thinks about us. And we self-internalize that. And a lot of times it can't be easy. It's not very easy to think about the positive. So I'm here to remind you all of the positive. If you ever need someone, please reach out. Please tell everyone what you're going through. Please let someone know. Nothing is a burden. None of your feelings are a burden. You matter. You are important. Your life matters. Never be afraid to reach out. There are resources, there are hotlines, there are things provided towards you that you will always be able to use. And we are here for you. Someone out here loves you. We love you. I might not know you, but I know you're a good person. So please don't give up. You could make a difference in this world, whether you know it or not. And in a few years, you're gonna look back and be like, oh my gosh, I've come so far. So, as a reminder to all of the participants of the Hope Rising Festival, you are loved, you are valid, and we are always here for you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kelly Milladon.
And I'm Sierra.
We're really grateful to be a part of Hope Means Nevada. Our aerial piece has a message we hope that you'll see. It's basically, no matter what, someone is always reaching out to you when you need it.
Hope you enjoy. Thank you.
Sometimes it seems that you're in this world alone. Hold on. Sometimes it feels like everything you do is wrong. Hold on. Sometimes it seems like darkness taking over life. Sometimes it seems that isn't worth the fight. Hold on. You gotta hold on. You gotta hold on. You gotta hold on. You gotta hold on. Tomorrow's a new day. Believe me when I say that you can't touch the top unless you've been to the bottom. And I promise you that when this day is through, it's through.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Hunterton, and I'm so honored to be here today. I hope that you're all doing well and enjoying the conference so far. I am a former Miss Nevada. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a friend, I'm a daughter, and I'm also somebody who lives with, has been diagnosed with, and struggles with anxiety, depression, and PTSD. My PTSD stems from several lifetime traumas. One was being molested as a child. The other was being raped and sexually assaulted in college and enduring racial torment unlike that anyone should experience throughout my high school experience. And then as an adult, I had a medically fragile child. When I talk about what it's like living with PTSD, I tell people it's like living with a well, inches away from me at any given time, whether it's beside me, in front of me, behind me, beneath me, above me. I'm always at risk of falling in, slipping in, tripping in, jumping in. And while you may be able to look down into my well and say, wow, that's a dark, scary, terrifying well, you'll never be able to see the bottom of it, because the bottom of that well is reserved strictly for me. I'm the only one that's down there. I'm the only one that can get down there. In the bottom of that well is the scariest place, scarier than anything that anyone can imagine, because that's where my nightmares live. Those bottom 10 feet are just for me. Through a lot of therapy and a lot of work, I know that at 10 feet 1 inch, there's a hand grip, there's a rope with my loved ones waiting and ready to pull me out. But I have to get out of those bottom 10 feet, and I'm the only one who can do it. And sometimes that's easier than others. Some days I can hop my way right out of there. And other times it's a long, arduous, difficult climb. Because it's hard to scale those walls because they're slippery, there's nothing to hang on to. And I'm so exhausted. I'm tired. Because at the bottom of that well, that's where I have to fight everything I'm afraid of and everything that's ever hurt me. And with PTSD, I don't merely recall or remember it, I re-experience it. And that's what's waiting for me at the bottom of that well. Then when I come out of the well, I have the anxiety of wondering if everybody knows that I just fell into the well. I have the depression of knowing that at any given time, I'm at the well's mercy. And that's what it's like, living with mental health challenges for me. That's my personal experience. What I can tell you is that 10 feet, 1 inch, if you can just get to that mark, you'll be able to get out. And that climb gets much easier. And if you can just reach the rope and you're willing to ask for help, there are a lot of people who are willing and able and ready and would be honored to lift you out of that well. And at the bottom of the well, that's one of the hardest things to do. Not only is it hard to get out of bed and function and find a reason to live, it's hard to ask for help because it's not easy to admit that our mental health struggles can be so much stronger than we are. But what I also know is that there is an outpouring of love and support and kindness and people waiting and ready, honored to be asked when we're ready to ask for help. So I hope that today you leave with the empowerment to ask for help and the resources of where to know, so you know where to go. There are a few things that can happen that are especially tragic at the depths of the well. One is that we could die there, never reaching our full potential, never knowing that it was a temporary state, never knowing that there was unimaginable joy, magic, and success, and value and worth on the other side of it. Another is that we live there, that we forever set up shop in those bottom 10 feet. You deserve better. So I hope that today you find the resources that you need. And for those of you who don't struggle with mental health, and for those of you who do struggle with mental health, this is something we can all do. I always tell people that it's so important that we be kind and we have compassion. Because not only is kindness no one's trigger, but when I'm having a hard day, and some of my days are unbearable, and some of my days are harder than anyone can imagine, what kindness does on those days is it lends me strength. It's free, it's easy, and what you do by being kind, whether I know you or I don't, is you allow me to borrow your strength and you help make the unbearable bearable. So as we leave here today, let's be part of the solution. Let's agree to be the ears, the hearts, the shoulders that people need. Let's be there to help our friends and those even that we don't know that are having a hard day. And let's agree and commit to be kind. Because again, kindness is no one's trigger. And those of you struggling with mental health, you're not alone. I see you, I stand with you, I care about you, and you are worth it. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Hi everyone, my name is Trin Dang, Executive Director of Nami Southern Nevada, and I'm here to share with you today the emotional stages that families go through, or friends, when our loved ones are experiencing a mental health challenge. So on the screen here, you'll see some common reactions to mental illness. Oftentimes it can be grief, fear, shame, denial. I know that I've definitely gone through all these things as a family member of a loved one who's lived with mental health challenges most of their lives. When our loved ones are going through a challenge and we're not sure what to do, how to help, we might feel a whole range of emotions for ourselves, as we're trying to be as supportive as possible. And this seems to be a common theme with family members and friends. So part of NAMI's belief systems and principles is that, especially as a family member, you are the expert because we know our loved ones best. We live with them, we see them day in and day out. So you notice or sometimes can see the changes within their behaviors, their actions, but at the same time, you don't need to know everything, and that's okay. And you can't know what you don't know, meaning that sometimes looking back, we think about what we could have done, what we should have done, what we should have said. But if we didn't know those things back then and we know them now, of course, looking back in retrospect, we are oftentimes harsher on ourselves. And now that we know what we know, as you become more aware in this journey of mental health awareness, it's okay to admit that, you know what, I didn't know these things back then. But now that I do know, I can prepare for future events or encounters. And also know that mental health conditions are no one's fault. It's not your fault. It's not your sibling's fault, not your parents' fault, definitely not the person who's experiencing it. Because these conditions have biological, psychological, and social factors that play into it. It's not just one thing. But just know that they do share universal characteristics. And so I'm here to share with you today some of those emotional stages that we go through collectively as family members or friends of loved ones. So some secondary traumas for families. There's an overwhelming responsibility that we take on as family members. Just being there emotionally for ourselves, but also for our loved ones, feeling confined or uninformed, especially with, certain HIPAA regulations, especially with things that are happening and we might not know all the pieces of it. And it does get emotionally exhausting, not feeling like we have enough support because, if you feel like you're the only one going through it, oftentimes I know I felt that way. It's hard to feel that support, but we want you to know that there is support out there. Some of the emotional responses that you might have already gone through or recognize is first, once we find out about this mental health challenge or whatever it is that our loved ones are going through, it's a sense of shock, confusion, or denial known as the crisis stage. And then eventually moving on to coping stage, there might be feelings of anger, resentment, exhaustion. And then finally into the advocacy stage of empathy, motivation, and wanting to go out there to help others who've gone through or are going through similar challenges. But there's an interesting thing about this is that just because we've made it to that advocacy stage, which is the stage that I identify myself with, doesn't mean that crisis doesn't happen. See, this emotional response chart, there's a cyclical process with this because we know that sometimes when our loved ones have an episode or they're going through something, we get thrown right back into that crisis stage. Maybe a hospitalization comes up, or maybe a suicide attempt, or maybe, something that's just a shock to us. Although we've had long extended periods of coping and advocacy, we might be finding ourselves going through that same cycle of crisis, coping, and advocacy again. And so here's some details as we break down what does dealing with a catastrophic event look like. So not only are we in denial, hoping against hope, but this chart kind of breaks down the needs in that moment. So what we need when we're in this state is support, a lot of empathy from our friends and family, for our loved ones, for ourselves, comfort, and eventually we move into a stage of learning to cope. But coping does look different for everyone. Some people may experience anger while others experience more of grief, or maybe both at the same time. And some of the needs in that stage is having a safe space to share our feelings and emotions ways to connect with other people so that we can learn how to let go. But know that letting go doesn't necessarily mean that you don't care. It means setting boundaries and knowing what we're able to handle and how much we can do for others. Because self-care is so important. Having those skill training and education. And finally moving into advocacy, which is finding acceptance and understanding and having some type of balance in our lives. Because as family members, we're also going through a healing process. It can sometimes be often traumatic for family members, seeing the things happening to our loved ones and wanting to be there for them, but feeling helpless. And I just want you to know that you're not alone. And again, as we're going through these stages, finding that right support system, the people that we can reach out to and share and help one another is going to be really vital and important. And if you feel that you can't find it within your current support system or that you need help, please know that NAMI does have support groups that are there for you to be able to share your feelings with people who understand, who've been there, who are going through similar situations or experiences, and may have found ways to overcome it or work through it, or maybe in a similar situation that you're in. So just to kind of wrap things up with our emotional responses, just know that none of these responses are bad because your feelings are your feelings. Your perspective is your perspective. You can't be wrong on that. And that not everyone experiences emotions the same way. You might not experience all these emotions that we just listed, and that's okay. Some people might numb out their feelings and emotions, and that's a coping mechanism that we've learned. And that could look very different from someone who's, able to share their emotions and really show it. And there's, like I said, no right or wrong in this. Experiencing responses in a different order from our family, even if we had a significant other, a spouse, or a sibling, a parent, everyone's going to be on different stages. One person might be in that crisis stage for much longer while somebody else has already moved into advocacy. But the point is that we're there for each other to understand that we all have to move at our own pace and we can't rush it. And there's no right or wrong way to really do this. And understanding how we feel helps us cope. So first, identifying those emotions and those feelings, as uncomfortable as they feel, finding that those resources to manage that stress is going to be important as well. Because yes, there is a lot of stress that family members go through, or even friends. When we're seeing our friends who, someone that we knew inside and out, and they've become a little bit different because they're experiencing a challenge that we're not sure how to help, and we're trying the best that we can. So just going through that chart hopefully has helped you understand a little bit more on what it's like for family members or friends going through this process in supporting our loved ones, and knowing that those experiences, those emotions and feelings are normal and that you're not the only one. I've taught dozens of classes and talked to dozens of family members, and we share the commonality of these emotions and feelings and frustrations. And it's okay. These are all normal responses to situations such as those. So thank you so much for having me here today. And I hope that you found this information useful for yourself.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to first off say that I am beyond excited to be one of the MCs here today. Hearing from all of the speakers today has really shown me that I'm not in this journey alone. I think when we initially went into the shutdown, I was like a lot of people, thinking that this would be a momentary inconvenience and that it wouldn't personally affect me or my family, and that we wouldn't be going on 8 months with no end in sight. Once the reality started to set in that this was our new normal, I kind of just lost sight of myself. I felt myself not reaching out to my friends or to my family, and just slowly isolating myself. Normally, pre-COVID, I would have bad days, maybe even a bad week or month, but I'd always find myself. But during COVID, I found myself going months on end with just these negative and unhappy thoughts. I started to feel myself going out less and less communication with my friends, But then I found this festival from Positively Arts, and it was almost a turning point for me. I got to hear from other kids who are feeling just like me through the Rising Hope Festival. And because of that, I've been able to sit back and really ask myself, is today better than it was yesterday? Is it better than it was 3 months ago? And because of that, I know I'm going to be able to make this through as a stronger and better person with better relationships with my friends and family. I have the tools now to find my inner strength even when the world tries to take it away from me. And I hope everybody watching has that same moment of realization that I did, that we are not alone. I'm having the same feelings you're having, your friends are having the same feelings you're having, your family and classmates are all having those same exact feelings. And by reaching out and talking to each other and expressing how we really feel, we can make it through this together. And you have no idea the true impact that reaching out to your friend can make just by saying, how has your day really been? How are you actually feeling? The festival is just getting started, and I hope you all find some inspiration from our speakers. Please welcome our next guest, Jeff Timmons.
Hi everybody, Jeff Timmons here from the group 98 Degrees, and I can't tell you what a pleasure and honor it is for me to be a part of the Hope Means Nevada Rising Hope Festival, raising awareness for teen suicide and mental health. I encourage everybody to get out there on your socials and spread the message with the hashtag Ask5. That's ASK, the number 5. Encouraging everyone to go out and reach out to friends, family, loved ones, 5 different people, and let them know that you're here for them. Obviously, teen suicide, mental health, anxiety, depression is an epidemic in our country and all over the world for that matter, but especially is now amplified during this pandemic. I've been blessed and fortunate to have a great career in the entertainment business for many, many years now. But I'm not immune to these feelings as well. I've had extremely high highs in the business, low lows, and frankly been very, very depressed to the point where I've been afraid to reach out and talk to anybody. But fortunately for me, I did have friends and family that I could lean on and talk to. And really, I don't know if I'd be here today without words of advice or encouragement from those people. So I hope you're enjoying all of the great speakers on the panel today, the phenomenal performers that have graciously lent themselves and their time to the event. And again, go out there on your socials, hashtag Ask5, ASK5. Get a hold of 5 people, let them know you love them, and, make the world a better place. Thanks so much.
All right, you heard right there, Jeff talking about the importance of leaning on family and friends. So again, reminder, folks, check in with your friends and family today. Hashtag Ask5. Someone you know may be suffering in silence, so please reach out. Another quick reminder here, please, to text 775-644-HOPE. That is 775-644-4673 to give today. All right, Will, back over to you, my man. Who is up next?
We have Demel Cooley, who has been an amazing part of the Boys and Girls Club of Southern Nevada for 3 years now and has shown great growth. He's an aspiring artist who likes to create songs and instrumentals to soothe his soul. He's working on attending college for marketing and engineering while influencing others with his songs.
5. He wakes up every day and sees the disappointment in his parents' eyes that he goes to school and waits for his tears to dry. But with his teachers, it's the same disappointment or approval used to lie. 4. He wakes up every day feeling like that he has wires wrapped around his vocal cords. And the second he steps out the door, he's unsure if he wants to keep on going anymore. Cause his pain inside is going to the point where he cannot endure. 3. Every night when he sleeps, he dreams of being free. No one's there to bully him and tell him who to be. You see, no one never asks if he's okay or what he needs. Everybody thinks he's bulletproof and that he never bleeds. He thinks that he's invincible. They think that he's invisible. He thinks he's lost it all. His friends no longer call. They've left him and outgrown him, but they now no longer talk. So in his room, he contemplates, but wait, in his house there lies his safe, his great escape, his golden ticket. He just has to get it. The life that he's been gifted, he knows that he won't miss it. His choice has been cemented. He prays that God will listen. 2, he knows what he has to do. Putting ink to papers, now he knows who he is writing to. To his mom, to his dad, to the friends that he once had. He knows that they'll be sad, but his guilt's already passed. His mind is shattered like his broken glass. 1, Anthony holds his daddy's gun. He reasoned with himself that once that this is all done, he will finally get the freedom that he wants. You see, Anthony is on the self-destruct. His life is just grown out of luck. He knows the booming sound is enough to wake his parents up. But there is no second option. To the world, he's just grown out of touch. So bang, but wait, his mama calls on hate. He comes to in the hospital room, the bullet never made it through. He's part of the lucky few, and while he slept, God told him that his life ain't over yet. He's going on a mission, and his mission is a message, and this message is his story. He asked if you could do this favor for me. Not for money, not for praise, not for fame, all the glory, but for people just like him, who were planning out their end, and Anthony said yes. So God restored his breath, and that concludes his story, but his story's got more left.
On behalf of our employees and their families impacted by suicide, NV Energy is honored to support the Rising Hope Festival and the mental health wellness of our community.
All right, thank you once again to our friends at Nevada Energy, and thank you, Demel Cooley. That was an awesome performance. So cool. Thank you so much. What a great day it's been so far, folks. We are charging forward here now into our third hour, and that means it is time for me to introduce another one of our fabulous, talented co-hosts brought to us from Positively Arts. Please welcome in Izzy Span. Izzy, hello.
Hi, Jeff, and
There you
everyone.
are.
I'm really excited to be here.
We are so excited to have you here. Have you been watching some of the festival, Izzy?
I have. It's been really outstanding. Like that little slam poetry that we just had. That was incredible.
Right? Yeah, that was awesome. Well, hey, let's get right into it, shall we? Our topic here for our third hour is, what do I say when I'm worried about a family member or a friend? So let's say you've noticed that a friend of yours, maybe they've started acting a little bit unusual. Maybe they're staying in their room more than they usually do, or maybe they've had a sudden change of eating habits. Maybe she's just told you that she's tired of being quarantined and seems sad or angry. What do you say? What are the, quote unquote, right words? What words should you avoid? It's kind of tricky. Too often, I think we're afraid of maybe ruining a friendship or causing any more pain. So we often don't even start the conversation. So we're going to talk now about how you begin that conversation.
Yeah, that's what this section is going to reveal. Beyond the first question of asking our family and friends, are you okay? How do we effectively check in our family and friends and create a safe space for them to talk?
That's right. And this next hour is filled with more performances, of course. We have Sienna Prenger, who will be performing her song Nightmares, and Megan Wallace will be performing Made for This.
We also have teen observations from Safe Space and remarks from Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys and Kristina Cullinane from the Las Vegas Raiderettes.
That's right. We have Ashley Floyd with Nami. We'll be speaking about how to communicate with our loved ones. Ali Borowski joins us from Find Your Anchor, and Mendy Barron from Ignite Teens, all here with us in this next hour. But first, we have a very special guest calling in.
Hi, I'm Senator Marilyn Dondero Loop. I am so excited to be here at the Hope Means Nevada Festival. This is an exciting time for all of us as we work with our teens in all of our schools. I'm here to announce the Nevada Medical Center grants via Hope Means Nevada Festival. Eric Hilton would be so proud of all the hard work being done here in Nevada. And now for the exciting part. The following submissions will be awarded grants this year. First, to Beacon Academy. 22 staff members will receive safe talk and assist training through the Office of Suicide Prevention, and they will renew their MindWise kit to continue implementing signs of suicide. Second, Mission High School. Funds will be used to create a Serenity Room at Mission High School. Third, the Press UNLV Mental Health Clinic. 3 families will receive scholarships for 20 free sessions and 2 iPads to provide access for children and youth to facilitate trauma-informed services and to increase their service utilization. And fourth, the Solace Tree. This will help fund the Good Grief program in 2 middle or high schools in Washoe County School District who have expressed the need but are unable to secure funding. Their programming helps students cope with the deaths of loved ones. Congratulations to all of you. And for all of you with us today, please enjoy the festival. It's such a great time to way to spend your Saturday. Thank you.
Hi there, hope you're enjoying the festival. My name's Kristen Burnson and I am a former president of the Nevada School Counselors Association and a current member of the Clark County School District School Counseling Department. Wanted to take this chance to thank all the school counselors in all of our schools for the critical work that you do each and every day, for the social emotional needs being met, and for the academic success of our students. Thank you, and we do appreciate everything you do.
Hi, I'm Sienna. Stream my new song, Nightmares. The lyrics really correlate with September 10th being World Suicide Prevention Day. I wrote this song in hopes that it reaches the right people. Every time I cry, I close my eyes. I'm watching myself die over and over again. Every time I cry, I close my eyes. I'm watching myself die over and over again. Nightmares turn into day terrors. I don't wanna see anymore. Nightmares turn into day terrors. I don't wanna see anymore. My skin is on fire, my mind lacks desire for anyone or anything. I've been down and I can't feel pain. I can't feel sane. I can't feel. I scream my name. I don't wanna be this anymore. I don't know what this is. I'm a monster for sure. Stab me with a metal stake right through my heart. I'm so rotten, I'm falling apart. I could move on, just stay in this hell. Nothing could burn more than the devil himself. I could move on, just stay in this hell. Nothing could burn more than the devil himself. Scratch on my eyes so I don't have to see my own hands killing me. Scratch on my eyes so I don't have to see my own hands killing me.
On April 1st, 2016, I attempted suicide for the 4th time. 1 pill, 2 pills, 7, 8, 9, few more shots of vodka and I will be just fine. This desperate chemical concoction that I created on my own, it's the biggest decision of my life and I'm making it all alone. 6 more Klonopin before I pick up my phone. I woke up like this, sitting in a psych ward with my feet against the floor, flying so high out of reality, I swear I've been here before. Grounding and grounding, these feelings are sounding, alarms in my head, seeing nothing but red, feeling better off dead. In 2019 alone, we lost 48,000 people to suicide. With that, there were a staggering 1.4 million attempts. Currently, there's a gap in how society is addressing this. Everything that I encountered was just so sterile and cold and corporate, and nothing really resonated with me. I figured I wasn't alone, so I thought, I'm a graphic designer, I'm gonna create it myself. My fundamental, core belief in the height of my darkness was that nobody would care. I couldn't feel the love and support that I was surrounded by, so I thought if I created something that showed you that a stranger cares about you, then maybe it won't be so hard to believe that your friends and family do as well. So great, now what with this newly processed information? How can I now transform this into a freshly positive creation? A beautiful migration with flawless narration. And while the struggle's never easy and words don't always come out right, just opening your mouth can be a catalyst for the fight. You see, something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I'm not playing around with this. My life is not a game. I I cannot be defined by a DSM description, and I refuse to be defined by a pharmacy prescription. The suicide addiction with unnecessary friction. I must grow from this, a catalyst of sorts. I think I found my anchor. I'm sailing towards my port. So Find Your Anchor is a grassroots movement aimed at suicide awareness and prevention. It's not a program or a hotline. It's something real you can hold in your hands. So you open the lid. It says, if you're feeling lost, hopeless, suicidal, this is for you. If not, please leave it for someone else in need. Inside, there's a deck of cards, 52 plus reasons to live, an infographic on depression, posters, a letter, a whole bunch of other good vibes, resources. And the idea is that people can add to it things that help them or things that were an anchor for them. And an anchor can be anything you hold on to that helps you get through a tough time. It doesn't have to be groundbreaking. It can be a smile from a stranger. It can be steak tacos. It can be Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. It can be FaceTiming with friends and family. Literally anything and everything. And this idea that anchors are everywhere, you just have to start looking. And in those moments of darkness, finding the things that bring you joy and holding on to them to get you through. So you may be asking yourself, well, how do we know these boxes help? And to that, I would say on average, about once a week, we get a message from someone that says, I just wanted to let you know that you saved a life today. We are literally growing by the day. This time last year, we had about 1,600 boxes in the world. And as of today, we are well over 11,000 boxes sent into the world. Dreaming big, we want a box on every college campus. We want a box in every public library and in every school. I cannot reiterate enough that this movement and Find Your Anchor, we are all about love. We are all about the small acts of kindness and the power of the little things. And just one more final note. After being in the psych ward, there are several things I've learned. The walls are not at all padded, in case you were concerned. And sometimes you need a little chaos to find some clarity. And if you don't eat all your breakfast, they will unremorsefully watch you pee. When offered, let your OCD roommate hospital corner your bed, and when your psychiatrist asks what color you're seeing, definitely under no circumstance say red. FYI, the cake is dry, the bananas weren't ripe, and if any silverware goes missing, TV privileges are revoked for the night. So take your meds and take lots of notes. Keep your mind open and have the highest of hopes. Thank you.
Mendy Barron. I am a licensed clinical social worker and psychotherapist and the founder of Ignite Teen Treatment. And yes, this is a fake backdrop. It's entertaining and figured to make things more interesting. In any case, I'm here to speak today about bullying. Bullying is a massive, massive prevalent issue that affects not just teens, but adults as well. Bullying today is very different than people perceived it in the past. You know, the traditional version of bullying involves a 90s nerd with a pocket protector who's in school and gets picked on by the jock. Let's say his name is Biff, right? There's your 90s cliche. And Biff is a big dude, and he pushes the nerd down, and the kid falls down, and all the stuff falls out of his pocket, and his backpack falls over in the schoolyard, and everyone laughs. And he's ashamed, he's sad. He goes home, he licks his wounds, and he comes back the next day, but he's resilient. And eventually Biff gets bored. And that's the classic trope. Today, bullying is nothing like that at all. Bullying varies. First of all, the bully doesn't have to be tough or the big jock, and the person being picked on doesn't have to be the nerd or the outcast. The person doing the picking could be somebody with a cell phone. And the shame isn't just the schoolyard, because now with social media, our schoolyards are connected. So you could be in one school or you could be connected to 50 schools. And the shame and the embarrassment goes on and on and on because, as they say, once it's on the internet, it's forever. And there's that really strong sense of permanence, a sense that this can't be undone, a sense that this is unescapable. And really, when we see bullying taking place today, because of the impact and because of how easy it is for people to bully other people, and because of how many people see it, and because of the perception of how many people see it, you really have a lot of folks looking and saying, I've got nothing left. I've got nothing left to live for. This is permanent. This is forever, and unfortunately, they too make very permanent decisions, which is why bullying is directly linked to suicide, and suicide has increased dramatically around the ages entering middle and high school. It's no coincidence. In the state of Nevada, suicide is the #1 killer for teens. Bullying is directly tied to these statistics. And bullying is something that cannot be left ignored. It's very easy for folks to talk about topics like shootings and school shootings and guns in schools, to talk about grades in schools, to talk about drugs. But bullying has a massive impact. And bullying is something that must be eradicated, if at all possible, within the school system. And obviously, culturally, we'd like to do that as well. When it comes to bullying, and when it comes to taking action, it's not simple, but there's something that every single one of you can do. Number one, there's a saying, if you go to any airport, if you see something, say something. If you are seeing bullying take place in an overt way, which isn't what always happens, but if you see it taking place, it isn't just an expectation that you should say something, it's your obligation. Not saying something is equivalent to seeing a kid walk into the street and not doing anything about it. It's equivalent to watching somebody hit somebody and not doing something about it. It is your civic, ethical, and moral responsibility to speak up, to say, hey, this isn't appropriate, to say, hey, this needs to stop, to say, hey, I can't accept this. That doesn't mean you have to physically bully somebody else to get the results, but it means you have to say something to let the bully know, I see what you're doing, and I'm not going to let it happen. And a lot of times when it comes to that, visibility is your biggest precursor to stopping, and not positive visibility, not playing into the bullying and giving the bully support, but calling them out and making them know that if you do this, there will be consequences socially for you. And for bullies, a good amount of them struggle socially and are utilizing bullying as a method of social control. So if you can say something, if you can speak up, if you can set boundaries for that, that is the #1 way to step in. Now, not everybody wants you to step in, right? It's very typical that when people are bullied, they're afraid that if you do step in, there'll be further shame, that they'll look like they need help, that they'll look like they're weak. And so you can't always do it, or if you do step in, maybe it happens once, but it's hard to do it on a regular basis if somebody doesn't want it. And 9 times out of 10, they don't want it. Even though they want it, they don't want it. And so what you can do there is be a support to somebody who is being bullied, to encourage them to stand up, to encourage them to seek help, to be there for them, to be a sense of support, to check in. It is so important, if you know somebody's going through something, to let them know at a bare minimum, I'm here for you. I'm here for what you need. I'm here to support you. I believe in you. You mean something. Because again, what bullying tells people is they're insignificant, they're inconsequential, and they don't mean anything. And you want to rewrite that narrative if and at all possible. The third thing you can do, which is also very critical, is advocate. I would say 9 out of 10 schools, and again, it's a very broad statistic, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it's a fact, most schools do not have metrics for bullying. They have metrics for how many times their sports teams win. They have metrics for the grades they put out and the average GPA of their student. They have metrics for all sorts of things in order to get funding, in order to draw attention, in order to get better students, in order to develop a higher reputation and stand out from other schools. Very few of them have a set of rules or metrics for bullying. Very few of them can tout, we've had a decrease in bullying by X amount. And it's very interesting that they don't have these kinds of things. They also have safety procedures, right? You have metal detectors, and you have you have spot checks, and you have ways to catch people cheating on tests, and you have all sorts of methods to catch nefarious acts, but they don't have very much for bullying. They have therapists who will support you if you are being bullied, but that's more of a patch, if you will. Not that therapy isn't important, but it's addressing the results of an issue, but not the issue itself. And so what you can do is petition your schools to create a similar system, to create a system whereby your teachers are held accountable if there's bullying in their classroom, whereby parents are held accountable if their kids are bullying other people. And if you can't get your school itself to do it, you may be able to get the district to do it, to hold the school accountable and say, hey, you want your funding for the new football field? I want to see your bullying statistics go down. Right? You want to get recognized? I need to see these statistics go down. You want to stand out and get awarded? I want to see what you're doing about this. Sorry, my yarmulke fell off. Getting really passionate. Want to do something about it? Want to get these results? Want to get recognition? Want to get funding? We want to see what you are doing about bullying. And if we can get the system to be accountable for the process, this is also critical. In the end of the day, no one person can do everything, but each of us can do our part in these little ways to put a stop to bullying and end what is essentially a very serious disease here in our country and around the world.
All right, thank you, Mendy. Love what you said there about really tracking bullying, getting the metrics, the statistics, the data to then support change and make positive advancements. So thank you for that, Mendy. And I loved the virtual background, by the way, I gotta say. So hey, folks, we are working together today to help eliminate youth suicide in Nevada. So again, we encourage you to make a donation if you are so able. Also, get more information. You can do both of those things at hopemeansnevada.org, our website there, again, for more information and to make a donation. Izzy, what fabulous speaker do we have coming up next?
Next, we have Kristina Cullinane from the Las Vegas Raiderettes joining us.
Hey everyone, my name is Kristina. I'm here to let you know about my own experience with suicide. On October 30th, 2016, my world forever changed. I got the news that my baby sister, Allie, had killed herself. And I never want anyone, any family, to go through what we went through. And as hard as it is for me to speak up about it and relive the worst day of my life, I do it because I care about you. And there are so many other people who do as well. This world would never be the same without you on it. And all those thoughts, bad feelings in your head, don't keep them in there, because there are so many people that will listen. There are so many people here that will help you fight through whatever battle it is that you think you have to fight alone. This world wasn't meant for that. And as 2020 gives us new challenges of connection each and every day, don't give up that fight for yourself, but don't give up on that fight for your friend. I'm here to remind everyone that the small things go a long way. That a smile, a little note, a text, a call. Do something today. Remind those that you love that you're there for them, because you never know what they're going through. I never knew how much pain my sister Allie was in, and I wish every day that I could take that pain away from her. But since I can't go back in time and change what has happened, I hope to change the future. And I know that I can't do that alone. It takes all of us checking in on one another. So take a deep breath with me again here. How are you guys doing? How are you really doing? Is there someone in your life that you think may be struggling, but you are struggling to find the right words? I'm here to let you know that there are no right words to say. You just need to show up. You need to listen. And even after what my family and I have been through, there's moments of hesitation that I have in giving advice to others about how to reach out. But then I remember that if the roles were reversed and I was in that low point, you just want somebody to ask, because as hard as it seems for you to ask those questions, it's more difficult for them to ask for help. So I just want to end with reminding you all that you have value. Your life has value. And that there are so many people here on this earth that care for you, that want to help you. But they need to know how. So be open to letting people know that you're not okay. Because let me tell you, it's okay to not be okay. It takes strength to show your vulnerability, and it takes strength to let somebody know that you're hurting and that you need help. So if you're somebody that does feel that struggle right now, if you're somebody who has thought about killing themselves, I'm here to let you know that those thoughts are normal. I've had those thoughts. And as hard as it was for me to let my parents know that after my sister had killed herself, I had to speak up about it. I had to let somebody know. Because as strong as you think you are on your own in this world, you don't have to live and go through it alone. You don't have to fight a silent battle. Someone will be there to listen. So, I want you all to hang on to that hope of a better tomorrow.
Wow. Thank you, Christina. Thank you for your vulnerability. We've heard numerous times today about the strength of vulnerability, and you certainly showed that strength right there, sharing with us and being just so honest and open. You heard Christina say there, everybody, you know, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to be less than perfect. Sometimes we're just so hard on ourselves. It's okay to not be okay, Christina said. Do what's best for you. Be yourself. Again, folks, if you're able, you're in a position to do so, please make a donation. This is really important work we're doing here, and we need your support. Just text 775-644-HOPE. That's 775-644-4673 to donate and continue to help us raise awareness about mental wellness. All right, at this time, I'd like to introduce our Safe Space Teen Panel. Now, Safe Space is a youth-led nonprofit that's based in Menlo Park, California, and throughout San Mateo County. They advocate for mental health awareness among teens. The purpose is to encourage and empower youth conversation around mental health and collaborate with schools, communities, and peers to promote mental wellness through student-led initiatives. This means by youth, for youth. Everything they do originates from young people who know firsthand, of course, what it's like to live, recover, and thrive in their own mental health journey. And they are ready to give back. We encourage you to check them out on Instagram, Safe Space USA. You can always learn more information as well on their website at safespace.org. Their reach is from one to few to many. Take a look.
The first thing I would do, I think, if I was worried about a friend or family member or anyone that I really care about, is just reach out to them, you know, just ask them how they are, like gauge where they're at, honestly, first, just see like how are they feeling, like where should I start, where can I start with them, like do I need to start at let's call for help, or can I start with let's talk it out? And then I think next, after assessing it, they can go one of a few ways, but I mean, I guess just going down the more you know, like the more stable path would be that they feel safe, they feel like they're not going to hurt themselves or anyone else, which is obviously the way that I would, you know, that anyone would hope someone would be. And then at that point, I think I would start asking, like, how are you? What's going on? How are you feeling? And then from there, I would go on to, you know, give advice, but not overstep and not give advice that would be like too much in a way as a friend, because I don't know. I'm not trained to do that kind of advice and like that kind of support, but I will be there as like a helping hand and just being there for them in any way that I can.
Well, I would start with the simple, I'm worried about you. Those 4 words can go a really long way, especially if the person is in a particularly dark or lonely place. To hear that someone cares about you and that they're here to support you can be really comforting in hard times. And then proceed with honesty. You know, tell them why you're worried about them and as well as be mindful of your own words, because those reasons or topics can be emotionally distressing and possibly triggering to the other person. And then finally, ask them what they need from you or how you can help them, and be prepared for whatever answer that may be. It can be, you know, as simple as just a shoulder to lean on and sit next to, or it can be, hey, I need an adult to help me out because I don't feel safe.
When you're worried about a family member or a friend, it's important to build trust in that relationship, and just to make sure that they're okay, the first thing that you should do is say that you're there for them and then make them feel comfortable with what they're saying. Make sure that you're validating what they're saying and give them the resources they need.
When I get worried about a friend, I try to ask about the here and now first and ask how their day was, just to start the conversation about how they're doing right now.
After going over how are you, you could be like, hey, I really appreciate you and I really love you and I want to make sure you're doing okay, so I'm here if you want to talk to me.
I think the most important thing is just establishing a safe and comfortable space with someone and listening to them when they talk, making sure that they feel like what they're saying is valid, and making sure that you are doing more listening than talking so that they can just get it all out and really trust you with that.
When I'm worried about a friend, I like to take them somewhere private, just the two of us, so that we can talk. And the first thing I do is I tell them that I really care about them and that I'm worried about them, so that they know that I'm there for them. And then I just ask them how they're doing, and sometimes they're not willing to talk, so I just keep asking them like slow questions until they start to open up and talk to me, and then we can get to the root of their problems.
I think that if you think a family member or a friend is struggling and needs help, you need to build trust with them and listen to them and be honest with them and give suggestions, but mainly just be like a shoulder to cry on.
So I would just say three things. So number one, I would say you want to try to be an active listener. So that means listening with your entire body, making sure that the other person feels heard. Number two, I would start off by saying, I just wanted to check in to see how you're doing. And then number three, I would make sure that you are not trying to solve their problems. Your job is to support them and to empathize with them.
Hi everyone. I hope you've been enjoying this past hour, which has been focused on saying what we should say to family and friends when we see them struggling with mental illness. I would like to share with you a video of something I recorded. It's called Waiting for Life from Once on This Island. It's about a character, and she's in a different situation than so many of us are in, but she's waiting for her life to begin. And I think so many of us are waiting for life to go back to normal and ready for everything to be normal again. So I hope you enjoy.
A stranger in white in a car going somewhere, going far. How it must feel to go racing wherever you please, flying as free as a bird with his tail in the breeze. Even the fish
Hello, I am Ashley Floyd, the program coordinator for the National Alliance on Mental Illness, Nami, Southern Nevada. I am here today to talk about communication strategies. Oftentimes, when we talk to our friends or loved ones who may be experiencing mental health challenges, even though we are just trying to help, we can be perceived a different way. I'm going to go over a few communication strategies that you may find helpful. All right, I statements. I statements focus on the facts without blaming anyone. They allow you to express your personal feelings about what your friend or loved one has chosen to do and say. Using I statements regularly can change the whole dynamic. If one person changes their communication style, it will absolutely influence how the other individual reacts. When giving I statements, I am speaking in a very specific, direct manner. I am at the center of the communication. I take complete responsibility for my feelings and opinions. I don't waver, and I say what I mean. Remember, your friend or loved one's thinking could be distracted, disorganized, or disturbed due to their mental health challenges. So it helps them when we are clear, calm, and concise. Here are a few I statements, for example. I feel hurt when I voice my interests, but they are not considered. I feel frustrated when I have to do the work by myself. I worry about you no longer doing many of the things you used to enjoy. I feel bad that our conversations keep turning into arguments. All right, so those were I statements, and they may not sound familiar to you because we usually have you conversations with our friends and loved ones. So let's hear the previous I statements worded in you statement words. All right, you don't consider my interests. You make me do all the work. You don't do anything you used to do. You always start arguments. So there's a different tone in those as it's directing towards the person in an argumentative, defensive way. So I'm gonna give you an example of a script and you can hear the difference. So this is dialogue one with you statements. Person one and then person two. You never do anything but sit and watch TV all day, but I'm not bothering anyone. You're bothering me. Can't you find something else to do? Well, maybe I'm happy just sitting here. Did you ever think about that? You. It's always what makes you happy. You're just being ridiculous. You don't want me to be happy. So you're saying it's my fault? I can't win. You're always criticizing me. So that was a dialogue with you statements. Now the I statements. I get worried when you watch TV all day, but I'm not bothering anyone. I know you aren't bothering anyone, but I worry about you because you stopped doing many of the things you used to enjoy, like walking in the park. Well, maybe I'm happy just sitting here. Did you ever think about that? Actually, I hadn't thought about that. I still feel worried. You're just being ridiculous. You don't want me to be happy. I worry because I want you to be happy. I want you to know that I'm here and I'm glad to go for a walk with you if you change your mind. So did you hear the difference? The sentences using you statements sound full of attacking and blaming. Anyone in these types of conversations would probably get defensive. When people communicate this way, the interaction becomes extremely tense very quickly. In short, without I statements, discussions can become arguments. We get more frustrated and our friend or loved one feels defeated. We voice our anger and frustration in a way that makes the conversation deteriorate quickly. So before leaving I statements, I want to mention that they're also great for making requests and giving positive feedback. I statements are a direct form of communication that may feel awkward, but can be effective. Acknowledging the mental health needs of others requires us to do things differently to support them. So now, steps for making reflective responses. So in everyday conversations, it is generally not instinctive or natural to be a reflective listener. We tend to have an inclination to talk about ourselves, advise others, tell stories, or agree or disagree with the speaker. Reflective listening and using reflective listening statements requires a person to have genuine empathy for the speaker. The listener must set aside his or her ego and have the motive for the speaker to gain more from the conversation than they do. Reflective listening is being fully present with the speaker, refraining from talking about oneself or giving advice, and using reflective statements that assure the speaker that you are understanding their feelings, thoughts, and needs. Typically, the format for a reflective statement is, you're feeling blank because you are wanting or needing blank. So here's a quick example. Amy says, I'm pretty sure my boyfriend loves me, but he doesn't put effort into the gifts he gives me. So Jessica says, so you're feeling unappreciated and you wish for your boyfriend to be more thoughtful. So this is a better response than if Jessica would have said, you're making a big deal out of nothing, so what, he doesn't buy you gifts, at least you have a boyfriend. So that wasn't helpful at all. So let's give another example. Riley says, I hate Sean. He said that I was overweight in front of all my friends. I can't ever go back to school again. Everyone thinks I'm fat now. And then Lauren says, you must feel embarrassed that he said that and angry that he said it in front of all your friends. It's frustrating when a friend disappoints you that way. So here are a few key points about reflective responses. The central part is staying with the emotional content of what your friend or loved one is saying, instead of arguing with them about how they see the situation. Don't try to convince them of what you think is true. Instead, acknowledge what is real to them. With mental health challenges, we're dealing with a unique set of behaviors in our friend or loved one. How do we cope with someone who blames us for everything we try to do to help and protect them? Who may be experiencing paranoia, or whose descriptions of reality might appear delusional? We tend to avoid talking to our friends and loved ones about their behavior and troubled feelings because we're afraid that mentioning them will only make things worse. The opposite is true. When we can reflect what they're feeling back to them, it often reduces those feelings and makes it easier to communicate with them. Reflective responses are useful whenever our friends or loved ones are communicating something unusual to us, when they're being oppositional, or when they're being challenged for some action we had to take that makes them angry. These are a few examples and strategies to improve your communication. Using I statements instead of you statements can convey your feelings and help you keep a conversation from becoming defensive and argumentative. Making reflective responses helps your friend or loved one feel heard and understood. So I hope you found these strategies helpful in your future conversations. Know that in any situation where you talk with someone who you care about, you'll have to make sure that you are communicating in a way that they are able to hear and receive what you're saying. And this is a hard thing with someone experiencing mental health challenges, but it's doable. All you have to do is just be empathetic and be intentional about what you say and don't say, what you do and don't do. I hope that you have great communication with your loved ones and friends in the future and that you're able to use these tips.
All right, thank you for sharing those tips with us, Ashley, and thanks once again to all of our friends with Nami. Depression affects nearly 16 million Americans every year, so please check in with your friends today. If that's one thing that's coming through loud and clear, it is the importance of talking, of communicating, of talking about these issues, checking in with your friends and family to make sure they're doing okay and listening to what they're saying. Again, just another friendly urge here to, if you can, please make a donation. Text 775-644-HOPE. That's 775-644-4673 to donate and help us continue to raise awareness about mental health. Now, Izzy, I want you to introduce our next performance, but I also want to ask you, I don't want to let your other performance that we just saw go without asking you, how long have you been performing? What does it feel like when you're singing like that? That was just incredible. I loved watching that.
Thank you. I started dance classes when I was around 2, and then I always kind of sang, but I started formal lessons when I was maybe 10, and then here I am.
Wow. Well, you were incredibly gifted, and it was really a joy to see. It's very obvious that you're passionate and you love what you do. So amazing.
Thank you. Up
All
next,
right.
we have my friend performing. Her name is Megan Wallace.
I'm Megan Wallace, and I'm a 15-year-old singer-songwriter from Las Vegas, and I'm so honored to share my latest original song with the Rising Hope Festival. Like many of you watching right now, there are times when I feel misunderstood, not good enough, or maybe even inadequate with everything that I do. I wrote this song to remind me to keep going and keep true to my beliefs no matter what anyone else says. I encourage you all to find the strength to carry on and believe in yourself. It's okay to have to remind yourself to do this. Not everyone is perfect. I hope my song inspires someone out there and you guys enjoy. Waking up in the morning, I grab my guitar. Can't help but sing a song I was dreaming about. Lie awake in my bed and I can't fall asleep. When the words come to me, I just gotta say, yourself out. You know you were made for this, made for this. Dig deep till you believe it. That spark inside of your heart. You know you were made for this, made for this. No matter what the world tells you. Say, have a safer plan, and that plan B will keep you at ease. But nothing kills dreams quite like planning to fail. Instead of trusting you'll succeed. So don't doubt it for a minute. Don't count yourself out. You know you were made for this, made for this. So dig deep till you believe it. That spark inside of your heart. You know you were made for this, made for this. Tells you. No. There'll be moments when you'll need reminding. Against how large you'll soar. You know that you were made for this. No matter what the world tells you. No matter what the world tells you.
Hey everybody, Nick from the Backstreet Boys here. I just wanted to take some time to bring some attention to an incredible charity here in Nevada called Hope Means Nevada. You can go to hopemeansnevada.org and check them out. Listen, I know that we have all been struggling during this pandemic with COVID-19, and it's changed all of our lives. And we've all been forced into isolation, and because of that, we have limited connection, added stresses of school for our kids, family, and they're missing their friends, and now, unfortunately, we have soaring levels of anxiety, depression, and feelings of helplessness among our precious young people. In fact, we've lost 3 of our Clark County teens to suicide just in the first 30 days of this school year. It's not okay. No teenager should ever have to feel the despair and loneliness that ends in suicide. It is a silent killer. And we're in a silent crisis that is taking our young people's lives right now. But we can do something about it, and that's what HopeMeansNevada.org is all about. And then we have the power to change things. All we got to do is speak up. We need to learn about mental health. We need to understand it. And if you want to learn more about it, just, again, go to HopeMeansNevada.org, and let's do something to fight back. So, thanks, everyone. Bye.
One of the pillars of the Subaru Love Promise is Subaru loves to care. Findlay Subaru of Las Vegas is honored to demonstrate that as we support the 2020 Rising Hope Festival.
All right, thank you to our friends with Subaru. And great hearing from Nick Carter. The chat was lighting up. Everybody was so excited to hear from Nick. So just absolutely thrilled that Nick could be a part of this event today as well. If you've been with us since the beginning, folks, you know we've had a tremendously successful last 3 hours. It's been so much great content, so many great speakers, so many great performances. We are powering through here to our 4th and final hour. That means it's time once again for me to introduce another one of my co-hosts, our final co-host of the day, brought to us also by Positively Arts. You're going to help me bring this festival home. It is the great Tracy McGee. Tracy, hello, hello.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here, and I can't wait to see all the amazing speakers we have lined up for this last hour.
Absolutely. Tracy, you were freaking me out for a second with your hands. I was like, uh-oh, is he muted? No, you were just being very expressive. I've had the pleasure of meeting you before, Tracy. I heard you sing Positively Arts Get Launched Vegas event, which I believe you won, if I'm not mistaken. And your voice is just incredible, a great performer. We're just really happy to have you here with us to close this thing out. Are you ready?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, here we go. We have absolutely saved the best topic for last. Folks, we're talking about hope. That's right. There is hope for all of us. That is the theme for our final hour together. Let's spread the word. We've all taken the first step in creating hope today. And that, of course, is that we have begun the conversation about mental health. So important. We understand more about the real pain of mental distress and the tragic loss of our teens by suicide.
That's right, Jeff. There is hope. We all have the power to improve our mental health by continuing the conversation and asking others to join in conversation with us. We can save lives and make a commitment to each other's happiness and our health.
Yes, we can, and it starts with us. In this chapter, we will be inspired by stories and creative pathways to spread hope to those who need it.
So join us in this final hour as Dr. Allison Netsky speaks to us from UNLV School of Medicine Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Health. Also, Clint Holmes and his granddaughter, Asia McCoy, will join us, and we have a performance from Ken Haley and Jacob Anderson singing Your Home.
That's right. Crisis Support Services of Nevada has shared an amazing video with us from their team of survivors, and Nicholas Stanton with the Urban Lotus Project will be guiding us through a meditation that you won't want to miss.
We also have a few words from artists Ryan Brunty with Depressed Monsters, Shane Knighty, and Gabriel Martinez.
And lastly, I am very excited about this. We don't want you to miss NFL player Darren Waller from our very own Las Vegas Raiders. He is going to share a few words with all of us. But now it is over to you, Dr. Netsky.
Hello, Nevada. I'm Allison Netsky, psychiatrist at the UNLV School of Medicine. It is our mission to train doctors and therapists to become mental health professionals and provide excellent care to the community. Suicide prevention and youth mental wellness are vitally important. I am proud to be part of the Hope Means Nevada team. Check in with people in your life and make a difference. Together, we can end the stigma around mental health and save lives.
All right. Hi, my name is Asia McCoy, and I'm a senior at Las Vegas Academy.
and I'm her grandpa. My name is Clint Holmes, and I'm just a senior period. Very proud of my granddaughter, and glad to get the opportunity to talk.
I know,
with
this is
her.
great.
So we're talking about mental health.
Yes.
Mental illness, mental health, and it occurred to me that your generation is much more open about mental health issues in general. I would imagine you talking to your friends talking to teachers, whereas when I grew up, it was never talked about. You know, people who had issues either were shoved off to the side or taken away or made fun of.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, that's a valid point. In this generation, in my generation, it's not seen as a negative thing to talk about mental health. You know, I feel very open to talk about it, whether it's with my family or with my friends or my teachers or just maybe a person that I meet walking down the street. You know,
Really?
Yeah, it's a very open thing. It's not something that can be seen looked down upon a little bit. And I know in not older generations, but generations back, it's not necessarily almost was seen in a negative light and a negative connotation. And I think it's so important to talk about mental health, especially during the state of America right now and what we're all going through.
Do you see that happening more and more in terms of the pandemic, in terms of that?
Yes, especially I am a social media user, as many of us are. And on Instagram and Twitter especially, there's like threads and posts and pictures about ways to control your breathing if you're having somewhat of an anxiety attack. Or if you just, people will link the numbers to whether it's a suicide hotline or a mental health helpline or just someone that you can talk to, free therapists offering, sessions with themselves for an hour for free, just talk about what's going on in your life. There are these apps, these self-help apps where you can kind of text a random generated person and they can just, allow you to talk about what is going on. And it's seen as something that is supposed to be talked about a little bit, not supposed to be repressed in a way that it has been before. And it's completely normal. It's a part of everyday life. I think almost everyone can kind of talk about their experiences within mental health, whether it be depression or things like that. It's not seen as something that should be seen negatively as it has been before.
I have some very close friends here in Las Vegas.
Yes.
And we do support each other in that way. It's unique. I mean, I have a lot of friends, and we talk about this, and we talk about music, and we talk about baseball, whatever. But these four guys, when I got my knee replacement, right? I didn't understand that it's more than a physical thing.
Yeah. It's completely a mental thing.
It's completely
a mental thing.
And I started going through. I'm a very, very glass half full person. But I started start thinking about death, start thinking about age, start thinking about this, and I know it's tied to the pandemic and tied to this uncertainty that we all face. But I think it was also tied to this. My friends somehow understood that and immediately called. And it wasn't, hey, how's your knee? It was, how are you? How you doing? What are you thinking about?
Because it's not black and white. It's not just a physical thing. Like you said, it's not just a mental thing. Everything alongside ourselves is very somewhat connected. Whether it is the fact that you did have a knee injury and stuff like that, it does affect your mental health because you're not able to walk the way that you did. You're not able to be somewhat active, at least for...
I had an actual anxiety attack, which I've maybe had once before, twice before in my life, but and it was at night, it was when I was getting ready to go to sleep, and suddenly I had to get up, I had to go somewhere, I had to, it's like I had to go outside, and this was early on in it, so my wife was like, you can't go, what are you talking about?
No,
I'm going to go drive. You can't drive, right? But it was like this, I felt... trapped.
Yes. It definitely is somewhat of a trapping feeling. I actually have been given the gift of understanding myself more and being able to come to terms with who I am during quarantine. I think that helped a little bit. But I know that even when I was still in school, maybe around February, March, I was going through a lot of anxiety attacks, whether it be just, social anxiety in the cafeteria, just having this feeling of so many people were watching me, when in reality, no one was looking at me at all, but it's just this feeling that everyone has their eyes on you and you feel somewhat trapped. You don't really, you're in a little bit of a funk, I called my mom freaking out, calmed myself down when I missed one of my class periods to talk about what was going on. But it's so important to talk about it, you know, because
you can look at yourself and be like, am I crazy? Is anyone else feeling like this? But so many other people are feeling like this.
And if you don't talk about it, you go down
exactly.
deeper
You
into
think you're by yourself when you're not. When everyone else can understand all these things.
This is an area that you're going to study in college.
Yes, this is something that I am going to study in college because I think it is so important. And it is something that we all need to talk about. You know, and I think that's where we can kind of look to everyone else that's looking at this and just watching this video and saying that you're not alone. This is not something that just happens to one person or just to you. This happens to everyone. This is something that needs to be continued to be talked about, whether it's in America or different countries or just wherever you're able to talk about it with, like on social media, talk to a family member, talk to a therapist if you have one.
And the thing is, if you're the one being talked to, it's got to be non-judgmental.
Yes, non-judgmental.
And you have to feel like the people that you reach out to are, not going to judge you. Or they're going to understand that there is something going on that they need to either listen to or give you some advice. Or send you to somebody.
Yes.
When I was young, things like going to a psychiatrist were like, that's stupid. Why would you go? Why would you go there, right? And as of course as I got older and became an adult, I embraced the opportunity to have someone to talk to in the crazy world we lived in then, and now the world is even crazier.
Yes.
We're all kind of trying to deal with what's next. And all that. So I think it's important that we find those friends, those people, and be very open about what's going on in terms of how we're feeling and the depression and all those things. I'm really glad that you get it and really glad that you understand it. And you're going to be a great therapist.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just everyone watching this, realize that you are not alone. Yep. And this is not something to be shameful or fearful about. It is normal. You're a human being. These things happen. And if you ever are feeling this way, find someone to talk to, reach out to a therapist if you have one, reach out to a friend, family member, anyone in your life that can possibly help you and show you some light, especially during a time like this. And I hope you all are well.
Amen. Stay well.
Hi, my name is Ken Haley, and I'm 17 years old.
Hello, my name is Jacob Anderson, and I am also 17 years old.
And we have been working hard with Positively Arts to bring you a song about positivity and friendship for those of you who felt like you've lost that during this pandemic.
We wrote this song with our friends specifically in mind because we know that they have been going through a lot of hardships, both mentally and emotionally, and we just wanted to let them know that we are here for them, and we wanted to give them a simple message that they are loved.
We hope you enjoy our song.
Do you feel
there was a suicide pact among 14, 13-year-old middle schoolers here in Nevada that had all decided the time, the place, and how they were going to commit suicide together. We found out about it, and the call center was able to triage the right team of people to prevent that from happening.
Being a mother and living in this fine community, I can't imagine waking up that next morning and having 14 of our babies not be here.
I thought it was pretty scary to think about what would have happened or how this community would have been affected had that actually gone through.
Crisis Support Services of Nevada is a place where anyone can come and get the support they need during the darkest times of their life. Everyone needs a reminder that there can be a better tomorrow.
They show those that are first calling up, or maybe they've called multiple times before, that they're not alone and that there is hope.
The staff and volunteers, they do this work 24/7. They do this work for people they don't even know.
When people call us, they're in despair, and we give them means to cope.
Of the 67,000 plus people that we helped last year, about 19,000 of those were from Nevada, but the rest came from all over the United States.
In the past year, we assisted 450 survivors of sexual assault.
When people are sexually assaulted, male or female, and need someone to help them through, we come out and volunteer to be their support person.
I think there are a lot of people, myself included, who believe they will never be that person who needs to call a crisis hotline for help. I've learned to never say never. On this one particular day, I was having a very bad day, and I knew I needed help today. So I looked in the phone book under crisis. I didn't know where else to look. I dialed the number, and I simply said, I was raped 30 years ago, and I need help. I will be forever grateful for that kind voice on the other end of the phone who chose to make my healing her business.
We advocate for those people who are victimized. When people contact us, they'll get an empathetic ear, a caring heart, and a helping hand. And they can come to us stigma-free, judgment-free, and get the support they need.
Everyone needs a reminder that they are believed.
Everyone needs a reminder that they are strong.
Everyone needs a reminder that there is hope.
Everyone needs a reminder that there can be a better tomorrow.
As we've said numerous times today, Nevada has one of the highest teen suicide rates in the nation. But folks, with your help, we can increase our teens' mental wellness. Encouraging you once again to please visit hopemeansnevada.org for more information and to make a donation. Now, Tracy, before I ask you to introduce who's next, a lot of people are singing today, man. I've heard you sing in person, and I was wondering if you would grace us with just a glimpse of your talent, a little something a cappella, just a line or two. Would you mind?
Sure. I used to think that I could not go on, and life was nothing but an awful song. But now I know the meaning of true love by leaning on the everlasting arms. If I can see it, then I can do it. If I just believe it, I know I can see it. I believe I can fly. I'll stop there. That's
No,
it. That's
keep
a song
going.
I
I just
sing
sat
about.
down.
No,
Come on,
Jeff,
that was
no.
That was amazing.
Thank you.
I know how talented you are. I couldn't let you get through today without sharing just a little bit of that. That was amazing. Thank you so much, Tracy. Thanks for indulging me and sharing your talents with us there a little bit. Take it away. Who we got up next?
Well, up next, let us all take a deep breath and harness the power of meditation from one of our spotlight nonprofits, Urban Lotus.
Greetings all. My name is Nicholas Stanton. I am the Executive Director of the Urban Lotus Project. We're Northern Nevada's first yoga service nonprofit where we're teaching trauma-informed yoga and meditation practices to underserved, underprivileged, and at-risk youth in our community, namely those who have experienced some form of trauma in their lives. And I've been graciously invited today to speak a little bit to meditation, which is one of the really key tools that we use in our repertoire to help foster and engender stronger senses of empowerment in individuals and also give them tools for self-regulation and stress management. So briefly, I think as a jumping off point, I'd like to ask us all to kind of really check in with ourselves and our own present experience. See just kind of how you're feeling in your body right now. Settle into your chair a little bit, maybe allow the breath to soften. Let the shoulders fall away from the ears. Loosen the tongue so it's not pressing up against the roof of the mouth. So just let the tongue get soft. And maybe also allow the jaw to soften a little bit. And what do you notice? Perhaps maybe you're holding tension in your posture or in your face that you weren't aware of. Or maybe you found some challenge in asking yourself to even relax right now. Or perhaps you simply became more aware of your body and the present surroundings that you find yourself in. So there's no right or wrong way to feel in meditation as long as we're noticing what we do feel. So what I asked us to do really was bring our awareness to our body, because our body is sensing things all the time, but our minds are somewhere else all the time. So I like to say that, the habit energy of the mind is to be anywhere but in the present moment. The mind is very well accustomed to roam and to wander into pastures of the past, pastures of the future. And so fortunately for us, though, we have a tool at our disposal that is unable to wander into the past and into the future, and that's our bodies. For better or worse, our body is very much always here with us. And because of its continuity with the present, it serves as a very useful object through which awareness can be anchored in the here and now and drawing attention to the present moment. And for me, attention in the present moment, and over time, what we learn to do with meditation is to develop a non-judgmental attention to the present moment. That, for me, is the embodiment of good mental health. Being able to show up for life and to not have to color all experiences and interactions and relations with others through the lens of some past depression or future anxiety that are all mental constructs. When we come into the very radical present moment of our lived embodied experience, abstractions go away. And with that, we can really get a good jumping off point for how we want to be and act in the world. So meditation practice, most generally, is just to develop a habit of being, learning how to create more space between a stimulus and a response, right? What we perceive and how that turns into certain kind of actions and behaviors in the world. And anyone can do it anywhere, anytime. You don't need a fancy mat and a fancy room and candles and sounds machines and incense to do meditation. Meditation is just an exercise. Just like we exercise our bodies at the gym, we exercise our awareness and our attention in meditation. Great. That's about it for me. If anyone has any other questions or want to reach out further, urbanlotusproject.org, or you can email me personally, urbanlotusproject@yahoo.com. Thanks so much for letting me be here. Have an awesome day.
Hi, I'm Shane Knighty, TV analyst for the Vegas Golden Knights and former NHL professional hockey player. I want to talk to you about Hope Means Nevada, a great charity for, especially in these times, dealing with a pandemic with COVID-19, the sense of depression, anxiety, helplessness a lot of people are feeling, teens, children, people of all ages. It's stuff I've dealt with previous in my career, personally from experience for me. One thing that's really helped me deal with a lot of those emotions has been the ability to work out, to physically feel strong. It really clears my mind at times when I am having those type of struggles. For all of you out there, I encourage that you speak up, you talk to people, friends, family. We're all missing that at these times. There's pressures of online school, you're missing social interaction, you're missing family, you're missing friends. The initiative, Ask Five family or friends. Reach out, whether it's a telephone call, whether it's various ways of social media we have this way. I have my own children, and that's one way to stay in touch with friends, with family. We're fortunate whether it's FaceTime or Zoom calls, Zoom meetings, Microsoft Teams. There's lots of ways now that allow you to connect with people. And I think that's very important in these times when you are struggling with these emotions. I encourage everyone to reach out to someone. If you are having problems, finding ways, whether it's a professional, whether it's a friend, whether it's a parent, whether it's a sibling, do your best to reach out and let's try and make a change.
Hey guys, I have been so moved and so inspired by all the amazing people we have heard today. Today, instead of singing, I have decided to read a poem called Don't Quit by John Greenleaf Whittier. It's so inspiring to me, and I think it's important to understand in this season, although there are so many things that is happening around us, it's important that we stay committed and dedicated to our craft and to spreading love and positivity throughout the world. So here is Don't Quit. And it reads as follows. When things go wrong, and they seem sometimes, and as they will sometimes, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the depths are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh. When care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is strange with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns. And many a failure comes about when he might have won had he stuck it out. Don't give up through the pace seems slow. You may succeed with another blow. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And you can never tell just how close you are. It may be near when it seems so far. So stick to the fight when you're in your hardest hits, and when things seem worse, you must not quit. So up next, we're going to welcome up one of the most unique artists, Ryan Brunty.
Hey everybody, how's it going? It's me, Ryan Brunty from Depressed Monsters. If you're not familiar with what Depressed Monsters is, it's a lifestyle brand and mental health advocacy group that I started in 2012. I'm so honored to be here with you today for the inaugural Rising Hope Festival. Huge thanks to Home Means Nevada for having me, and a huge thanks for everyone that put this on. I've been hearing about it all over NPR and the news, and I think that the fact that we're getting more attention to mental health awareness and the rising suicide rates in Nevada, especially through COVID, I think is a worthy cause and something we should all be rallying around. So thank you so much for putting this together. Again, it's an honor to be here. I'm sorry that we can't be together in person for this. Unfortunately, we're going through this shared event, this pandemic, that although it's isolating for all of us, we are going through it together. So it makes a very confusing thing as to where we are with our mental fortitude and where we are with our mental wellness. And so I think these kind of check-ins and these kind of wellness checks are much needed, especially for those of us that suffer from depression, like myself, and high functioning anxiety users such as myself as well. And so this is very good, not only for each other, but I think for us speakers as well, to just kind of check in and make sure that we're all doing okay. So with that, I just wanted to start off by just saying, if you're of age to vote, get out there and vote. Like, this election is so important. And it's kind of like what Mr. Rogers said. He said, when we go through catastrophic events or
things that are scary, to look for the helpers. And I think right now, if you keep that in mind when you vote, I think we're gonna be in a much better spot going forward. And so vote for people that have mental health in mind. So proper mental health services for people, proper social services for people, things that can help us all instead of helping the 1% and helping those that are dictating life for a lot of us. I think this is a very, very important election year, and I think it's really important for us to get out there and vote. So if you're of age, or if you have people that you can talk to that can vote, just make sure you're getting out there and vote and make your voice heard. I think it's really important. So next year we can do this in person and actually see each other and give each other hugs and high fives and really check in with each other. So be safe out there, and you are loved. You are deserving of love, and I think that's just important to remember. With that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and talk about Depressed Monsters and where I'm at through this pandemic and how I got here, and hopefully it helps some of you going through this as well. Again, it's a shared event, but it's also super scary for us to go through. So I hope this can help at least one of you. And always feel free to reach out to me if you need anything. It's just at Depressed Monsters on Instagram. So with that, Depressed Monsters, again, was founded in 2012. When my grandfather passed. And so if we rewind the clock a little bit, I was working 3 jobs at the time. I was stressed out all the time. I was working just way too hard. I wasn't thinking of proper mental health practices. My anchor was fixed. I was dragging the boat, and I just wasn't cognizant of where I was mentally. And so when my grandpa passed, everything kind of crashed and burned, essentially. I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't have the tools. I hadn't gone through therapy. I didn't know what to do. And so I just didn't leave my house for 2 weeks. And I just didn't know where or what to do or who to reach out to. So I stopped reaching out to anybody. And I lost a lot of support around me. I lost my jobs. I lost a lot of gumption to keep going. Then I started doing these self-portraits every night to give myself some kind of motivation throughout the day. And one night I did a little monster that was brown and furry. And I looked at it, and I did this watercolor, and I looked at it, and I go, you know what? Like, that's exactly how I'm feeling right now. This is like encapsulates everything that I feel and I'm going through, and all the turbulent feelings and not knowingness of dealing with a loved one's death. And, the eyes were really important to me, and I just got lost in the eyes of the character. And so at the time, again, this was 2012, Twitter was a much different place. It was more supportive. It was full of creatives. It was full of people trying to raise people up instead of tear people down. And so I found a lot of people that were supportive and loving, and a lot of comments and people reaching out and saying, this is good. This is worthy. Like, the eyes tell the story. And so with that, it gave me some motivation to want to continue drawing the character, because to me, it was very personal because it was a self-portrait. I was legitimately putting myself out there and showing how I was feeling without telling anybody how I was feeling. And people understood that I was depressed through this character just from the way it looked. I mean, if you've never seen the character, it's got a somber, it's actually right there if you can see it. It's got a mouth that kind of goes downward. The eyes are kind of sunken in, and it just looks very, very sad. And at the time, I didn't think twice about it because that's just how I was feeling. But, now looking back, I'm like, wow, yeah, like that is a cry for help. And so luckily I had people that took it seriously and allowed me to say what I needed to say. And so I did a blog post for National Suicide Awareness Month, I think it was months later. And the reception to that, because I had done a first run of shirts that people bought, but nobody knew what the character meant. And so I wanted to do a blog post that kind of explained what I had gone through when my grandfather passed. And so people really dug deep into that blog post and then fully understood the character and understood what I had gone through, what I was going through. And I started getting support around me. I started going to coffee shops. I started feeling more mentally well. I started feeling like I was actually doing better, feeling better, dealing with my grandfather's death. So long story short, that blog post was actually found by the Jed Foundation, which is an amazing foundation based out of New York. And they deal with college-age suicide. And so they reached out, and I was actually flown out to Manhattan to work with The Moth and put together my story to a more digestible format. And so working with them in Manhattan and speaking at Saatchi and Saatchi and seeing the power of storytelling, I was able to kind of take this story and put it into a bite-sized version of it so I could help others that might be going through it as well. Because I didn't realize at the time, but art is therapy. You get into the zone, you get into the flow, you start feeling better because you have something to focus on, and that's essentially what saved my life back then. And so I started focusing on that character exclusively. I started focusing on telling the story, and I started being invited to speak at colleges and tell my story, and I started crafting it into a whole workshop where I could help people with their monster that they were cultivating and what that looked like. And so now I'm lucky enough to travel the country and speak at colleges and help people draw their depressed monster and what that looks like for them, and do it in a more digestible format so people can actually cope with what they're going through, and giving them the tools so they feel comfortable if something catastrophic goes on in their life, and they can maybe feel a little bit better about going through it and a little bit safer, because that's what we're all looking for, right? We're looking to feel a little bit safer. And so long story short, the clothing brand that I created is now featured on Zappos and Hot Topic, where I donate a portion of proceeds to the Hot Topic Foundation, which is very exciting. They work with Mental Health America, so we're raising some money for good through Hot Topic. I have wholesale through Zappos, and they're an amazing brand that understands mental health in such a unique way as well. And you can find it on Threadless and at my website, depressedmonsters.com, where I personally donate a portion of proceeds to mental health agencies as well, because it's super important to me to give back. Because I was lucky enough to find my support system, but a lot of us aren't that lucky. A lot of us have to go through this alone, and it's scary, and it's daunting, and sometimes it's life-altering. And so if I can do just a little bit of good to help people know that they're not alone, then that's something that I feel very passionately about. So that's basically how I got here today. I know it was kind of a short-form version of it. If you have any questions, or if you ever want to reach out regarding art or anything along those lines, just know that I am not a licensed professional. I'm not a therapist, so I cannot give out advice. I can just tell you what helped with me. Basically, art therapy is what helped me. But if you are feeling thoughts of suicidal, if you're feeling suicidal thoughts or self-harm, please do reach out to the suicide prevention hotline, or reach out to a licensed professional or a friend or a loved one, because you are loved, you are cherished, and it's going to get better. I know today or tomorrow might be dark and gloomy, but those clouds do pass, and together we're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this. I promise you. It's scary, it's daunting, things are very upended right now, but together, through love and cherishing each other, we will get through it, and I promise you that. And I can't wait until next year where we can get together and we can all hug it out and be thankful that we're still here and we're still loving and cherishing every moment. With that, I want to thank you again for watching. Again, that's at Depressed Monsters if you want to follow along. I post art, clothing, things that inspire me. And yeah, I hope to see you on the internet, and I hope to see you next year. So thanks again, Hope Means Nevada, and yeah, we'll talk soon.
All right, thank you so much, Ryan. Folks, we hope that the mission of Hope Means Nevada has been resonating with you today. That mission, of course, is to provide access to mental health resources and a community of hope. Please support our mission, if you can, by texting 775-644-HOPE. That is 775-644-4673. Tracy, over to you, my friend.
Well, up next, we have actress and singer Gabriela Martinez.
Hey everyone, I just want to say thank you for watching this video, wherever you are, and thank you for taking the time to listen to the message that I have to say today. I want to let you guys know that I've partnered with Hope Means Nevada, which is a Nevada-based organization where I was raised, that is a center for mental health resources and has created a community of hope in Nevada. They've asked me to be a part of their Ask 5 charge, which is awesome because I really love to promote mental health awareness and it's something that is very dear to my heart. To be a part of their Ask 5 program is very simple. You reach out to 5 people that you know. That could be anyone, your friends, your family, a neighbor, someone in your DMs, and you ask if they're okay, and you check in and be present with them. And those of us who understand the effects of depression and anxiety and how the fear and isolation and the hopelessness and the insomnia and the irritability and the anger, and the list goes on of problems that this can create for us. It's nice to know that in a time where the world is changing so much, it's nice to know that there's a hand out there that we can reach out to, and that there's someone that cares, you know? So I really want to encourage anyone to ask 5 people if they're okay. And I don't know, maybe you could help save a life today. And that's all. Thank you for listening, and go ask 5 people if they're okay. I dare you. And don't be afraid to talk to people. Don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid that they won't care what you think. Asking someone if they're okay it's okay. So, I don't know. That's all. Thank you for listening. I love you guys. Bye.
Wow, that was amazing. That was amazing. It's important to always have in mind that there are people around you that may need you, and that one hey, that may how you doing can really change your life. We've had so much fun with you all today, learning about how we can help our friends, family, and most importantly, how we can help ourselves when we feel like we can't do it or things are becoming too much.
That's right. Up next, I've been waiting to introduce this gentleman all day. Super excited about this. We have Las Vegas Raiders number 83 tight end Darren Waller is here.
How do I take care of myself and ensure that I'm in a good place with my mental and physical health? Well, it starts mentally for me. If I'm not dialed in mentally, then things start to fall apart for me. I'm up at 4:30 in the morning. It starts with prayer and meditation for me. Starting out my day on an honest note, an open note, and just, visualizing my day. It goes into reading. I love reading inspirational content, listening to podcasts or watching sermons that, stimulate me on a spiritual level. And then when I'm in the right place, that's when I can really challenge myself physically with my exercise and making sure that I'm pushing myself to my limits every time I do it. Trying to reach a new height with the things that I'm partaking in. I'm stretching, I'm taking care of my body with recovery, massages, cryotherapy, hyperbaric chamber, all these resources that I'm blessed to have now, but, just core things like stretching, allowing yourself good rest, great sleep every night, things of that nature go a long way. What you're eating, your diet for sure. So those things play a huge part, but you can take your physical to so many different levels when you're tapped in mentally. So I believe that mental health is the driving force in everything that we do in our life. It makes the difference in whether we're living a life that we love and respect and that we think is successful. That all stems from our mental health, so it has to start there. Have I ever felt stress, anxiety, or a need for support? Yeah, I felt all three. I felt stress and anxiety since I was probably 5 years old, trying to figure out, why my friends didn't look like me, why I wasn't black enough, why I was basically a white kid. How come nobody looked like me in my classes? I just never fit in anywhere, and I felt that stress and anxiety to, do everything I could to be somebody else or fit a certain image so that I could be liked, so that I could be accepted, because I needed that so badly deep down. And I wasted a lot of energy doing that growing up, going through high school and things of that nature, and just attaching my entire identity to football success. And when that didn't work out, I was just, empty and hopeless at 15 years old, and, turned to drugs and alcohol that early. And that started to numb my stress and anxiety and make me feel better. But over time, the using just multiplied it and made things spiral out of control for me. And by the time I got opportunities and friends and things of that nature, I was just exhausting them all, ruining everything, sabotaging everything. So the stress and anxiety took my life over and, pushed me to rock bottom. And that was when I realized I needed support, I needed help. And from that point, I was able to help myself, and others were able to help me.
Silver Summit Health Plan is honored to be a sponsor of this year's Rising Hope Festival. Together we can transform the health of our community, one person at a time.
Thank you to our friends at Silver Summit Health, and thank you so much, Darren Waller. That was awesome. We're just about at the end here. It's hard to believe. Tracy, any final thoughts?
Well, we are just so thankful that you guys have all stayed here throughout the entire show, throughout the entire festival, and we hope that we can see you again at many more festivals to come.
Absolutely. I think this was really incredible. So many highlights today, so many fantastic speakers, so many great performances. I got to give a special shout out to my co-MCs. We had Valerie, we had Will, we had Izzy, and now we have Tracy. That's right. A virtual round of applause to all four of our MCs. An absolute honor to be here with all of you. I also want to give a shout out, a big thank you to not just everybody watching, of course, but everybody that went into planning and producing this event. We may have missed you. If we did, it was just because there was so many people involved. It was hard to name everybody. So it really was a collective effort by everyone. So thanks to everyone who helped put this incredible event on. We're looking forward to the next year, hopefully in person. So with that being said, it's my honor to introduce our final performance of the day. This is Pato Banton.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Pato Banton, and this is
Antoinette Root's daughter.
Antoinette Root's daughter. And we're really, really happy and honored to be a part of the Rising Hope Festival. And we want to invite everybody to grab an instrument, grab a shaker, grab some spoons, grab a pot, and jam along with us right now. We're going to do a song called Love is the Greatest Thing in the World. And the words are love, oh love, sweet love is the greatest thing in the world, okay? So, yeah, let's do this, Antoinette. And we want to say peace and love to everyone all over the world. I think I need to get up and dance to this. It goes like this. So many problems in this world that we're living in. So many people feel like giving in. Life is a struggle, but we keep on juggling. Poor man hustling, money man bustling. Yes, we're moving at a fast pace, but I don't want to be in a no rat race. Cause there's more to life than material things. Everyone count your blessings, and we got to give thanks and praise as we look forward to brighter days. Cause I know with a little faith, everything is gonna be okay. I believe that love, oh love, sweet love, is the greatest thing. Love, oh love, sweet love, is the greatest thing. Again, love, oh love, sweet love, is the greatest thing in the world. Alright, you guys sing the chorus with me right now. One more time, here we go. Love, oh love, sweet love, is the greatest thing. Love, oh love, sweet love, is the greatest thing. Again, love, oh love, sweet love, is the greatest thing in the world. Alright. Now I know it might sound quite delirious, but I believe this is the age of Aquarius. And I know it might sound quite vicarious, still I believe this is the age of Aquarius. I can hear the call, I can see the signs, I can feel your love, I can sense the vibes in my heart and soul, in my conscious mind. I know it's revelation time, time for more justice, more equal rights, more peace and love, more truth and light. A time to rise to higher heights, closer to light and life. You see, true love is truly contagious, gentle, kind, meek, mild and courageous. To spread love is so advantageous. Tap your it, now spread the virus of love. Oh love, sweet love, gift of prophecy and understand the secret mysteries. Have enough faith to part the deepest sea, but if you ain't got love, you got nothing. Love is the gift of eternity. Love is the truth that will set you free. Love is a gift from the Almighty. I believe, yes, I believe that love, oh love, sweet love, is the greatest thing. Love, oh love, sweet love, is the greatest thing. Again, love, oh love, sweet love, is the greatest thing in the world. One more time, let me hear you guys, come on. Love, oh love, sweet love, a little louder, it's the greatest thing. Love, oh love, sweet love, it's the greatest thing. Again, love, oh love, sweet love, it's the greatest thing in the world. Acoustic style, y'all. Love, oh love, sweet love, it's the greatest thing. Love, oh love, sweet love, it's the greatest thing. Again, love, oh love, sweet love, it's the greatest thing. You go, girl. It's the greatest thing in the world. Rising Hope Festival. Peace and love from Pato Banton and Antoinette Peace Carter.